speaker comes to us from Bit9 Carbon Black. Curt Shinneman has been working in the IT industry since 1997 and obtained his degree in electrical engineering from Purdue University. He spent the last 15 years in the software business and recently joined the Bit9 Carbon Black family in December of 2014. Please welcome Curt Shinneman.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me all right? I'm back. Again, my name is Curt Shinneman. I'm with Bit9 Carbon Black. I'm here to talk to you about endpoint threat prevention, detection, response, and settings. Now, these are actually red in color, but if you believe in my product, they'll probably look carbon black. We only have a half hour today, so I'm going to hit things on a very high level. Please feel free to stop me afterwards during social hour. I know we went into social hour very quickly. Please stop and talk to us. If you want something, if you want to go through a demo, you want to set something up today, talk to one of my counterparts, Kate and Frazier at the booth, and also we have Chuck Clemens with us as well. Talk to either one of them, and we'll get something scheduled up for you right away. With that, we'll go ahead and begin. So really what we have with Bit9 Carbon Black, we have two main areas we like to focus on. Basically, we want to harden your defenses. We want to reduce that profile and really be able to prevent advanced threats. So we're going to get into that with the Bit9 side of things. And then on the other side, we have the Carbon Black side of things, and that's really about being able to rapidly detect, respond, and dismantle any threat that's in there, and be able to do that on time as quickly as possible and reduce that dwell time. So with Bit9 Carbon Black, we have two products. There's actually what I consider a third product, and we'll talk about that and we'll get into a little bit more about that moving forward. We are a leader in the endpoint threat prevention, detection, and response. We have, these slides are a bit dated. We have well over 1,200 different customers. We have anywhere from 4 to 7 million endpoints out there today, licenses sold. We're in many of the Fortune 100 companies. And in 2014, we became the Endpoint Security Product of the Year by SANS. And what's nice about the SANS user reports is the users saying that we're up there. And we're used by over 40 plus IR and MSP firms. The other thing that we like to pride ourselves on is our openness and integration with third-party products. So you can take our product and sit in pretty much any environment and be able to integrate with any of the major network securities, SIMs, our threat intelligence feeds that will get into the cloud perspective we talked about. We also have integration with Microsoft's endpoint securities. So we integrate with Emmet from a Carbon Black side. Emmet's the mitigation environment, and then we integrate with SCEP, System Center Endpoint Protection. It's their antivirus on the Bit9 side of things. And then we also integrate with any third party or homegrown, and that's based off of our open APIs, both on Bit9 and Carbon Black. And kind of taking more of a physical look of kind of how we handle the prevention and detection. From the Bit9 side of things, we have, think of it as you have a business, you have a company, you give people key cards that come in. That's the only people that are allowed in. So more of a positive posture. So we're going to allow you in. Anybody else, we're going to, you can't get in. You can't get past that. So that's kind of analogous with the Bit9 products. And then for the Carbon Black side of things, it's a DVR type of a play. So we do continuous recording at the endpoints. Endpoints being desktops, laptop servers, and whatnot. So we're going to do a continuous recording of what's going on. And this differentiates us. We have a gapless recording capabilities of major things that are wrong with the environment. And we're going to be able to show you exactly what happened at the time of detection. So what we found with a lot of organizations in the past 5 to 7 years, they've been spending a lot of time and a lot of money really focusing around the network and making sure that their network is secure. And really what's going on in the industry is, the payload is at the endpoint. So we're focused on the endpoint side of things. When we talk about endpoints, we're talking desktops, servers, laptops, physicals and virtuals, Windows, Linux, and Mac. So that's what we're talking about. So that's where the payload resides. These attackers are after intellectual property, they're after data that you may have out there, and all that data resides on the actual endpoint. It doesn't reside on the network. It may traverse the network, but it's not there. It's on the endpoint. So that's where we're spending the focus of our time. And with that being said, that's not saying the network side is bad. We truly believe in depth and security, so you've got to have different layers, and the endpoint is just another layer to make your footprint a little less than it is today. This is more of a marketing slide, and obviously it's up there for a reason. It's kind of, is it the scare factor, or is it just all true information? And I'm not going to go into this very much in depth, because I'm sure you guys have seen this from every person that's been up here today. So there's, basically breaches are up, the total cost is extremely high, and you guys have heard this and been preached this all day long. So if there's anything that you want to question, please feel free to do so at the end of the presentation here, but we're just going to kind of jump through that so you guys can get to your source round. One thing we do want to talk about, is 7% of malware is only used once. So these are for targeted defenses. Our signature is defense capabilities. We don't rely on libraries of information, and we're going to stop the malicious things that are going on today that happen all the time. We're more worried about the malware that is pinpointed and just sitting there and waiting. And again, 7% of malware is used only once. So there's no signatures waiting for these. So you can't have it. You have to be based your prevention has to be based on being able to stop patterns of compromise, indicators of compromise. These are the things that we focus on, the patterns of how things get, how things come into the environment, how they attack us, and we're going to be able to attack them. And again, these tailored attacks require tailored defenses, and you need a very robust and tailorable system, much like Bit9 Carbon Black offers. And we can change on the fly, be able to remediate and go into depth with defense very quickly and very accurately. So again, just kind of taking a look at the products that we offer. We have the two main products, Bit9 and Carbon Black, and then I always argue that the Threat Intelligence Cloud, although it's not a product, it actually comes with both products and integrates with both products. I would consider that a third product because it's very important and provides a lot of robust rules, a lot of information on the back end. So with Bit9, it's the most comprehensive endpoint threat protection solution in the industry that's out there today. We're designed for originally around application control and whitelisting. I know those terms may have a negative connotation to them at times, but the way we do it, the way we handle it is totally different. We allow sources of truth and we allow paths of truth where we can allow things to happen and we can categorize things versus having a complete list that this is good, this is good, this is good. We say anything from this source of truth. That source of truth may be a directory, it may be SCCM, it may be Altiris. Those are areas of truth that come in. We're going to allow those applications to run, and then we can stop, or deny, or report on any others moving forward. There is a single agent out there. It's a very low-profile agent that runs and gives us the information that we need. And this is all trust-driven. Again, if IT says we're going to allow it, we allow it. That's that trust-driven. We can set policies up, and we get multiple policies for multiple systems or groups of systems as needed. From a Carbon Black side of things, it's the leading ETDR out there, and it's more for the SOC and IR teams. Typically is where it plays well. So instead of, if you're getting breached, you're going to be a lot of times you're going to call an IR team. They're going to come in and start their investigation. They're already behind what's going on. If you have carbon black in your environment, I have that continuous recorder going, monitoring what's going on. I'm going to see what's going on. There's a detection. I'm going to be able to roll back and say, oh, this is where it started. This is where it ended. This is where it transversed to. We did a module load. We did a registry setting change. Whatever it may be, we're capturing that type of information, and it's available to me right now as soon as that target happened. Then from the response side, I can go in and stop that. I can isolate as needed and move forward. Both of these products operate on a very wide variety of systems, Windows, Linux, and Mac. And then we also have that open API, open extensible API that we've talked about that we can integrate with the checkpoints, the FireEyes, the logarithms, and RSAs, people that are here as well. And then from an endpoint perspective, I always like to bring up Microsoft because they have some freebie tools that you might as well take advantage of and help defend your systems out there. So as we're kind of taking a look at this, really we have the wheel of life there, I call it, and everything is centered around visibility. With Bit9 and Carbon Black, we have the best visibility in the industry, bar none. That continuous gapless recording capability is so powerful and gives you the information readily available at your fingertips as needed. Starting with prevention. Prevention is kind of more on the Bit9 side of things, although a lot of this does overlap. Bit9 is really centered around prevention, being able to take advantage of being proactive, being able to do customizable techniques, whether it's from an indicator of compromise or a classification of attack, we can take advantage of that. And then detection is really again, it's real time without the signatures. We don't detect what's going on. And once we detect it, we want to be able to stop the bleeding as quickly as possible, right? So if I'm doing an incident response and something's going on and you want to be able to stop what's going on, you want to be able to stop that malware from traversing the internet or the network and be able to stop what's going on. I want to be able to isolate that as quickly as possible. Then I want to take advantage of the tool and be able to do remediation based upon that. We think we're the only ones in the industry that gives you this life cycle from prevention, detection, response with the visibility we have. And with all that being said, that needs to be run on every machine in the environment so you can keep your security profile extremely low. And that's for desktops, laptops, and servers, every machine that's out there. Keep wanting to hit the keyboard there. So what we're seeing from an advanced threat prevention, antivirus has been around for 20 years roughly. And, it was great in the beginning, back in the day, but it's been stagnant. It's overrun its course. It's been there for a long time. You need advanced protection these days, more so than signature-based protection that antivirus gives, because the bad actors are keeping way ahead of us in that game. Malware threats continue to, there's more and more malware threats. There's 1 million more variants of malware every single day, so there's no way they can write a signature for each one of those and keep on top of it. So what we say, we want to do proactive prevention and be able to attack it in a different way. So we're really turning that model upside down and saying, instead of saying all the bad things, we want to tell you what the good things are and block others as they come in. So we do that in 3 different models and 3 different modes there. We have, wrong button, sorry. We have low, medium, and high enforcement. And these are, there's enforcement in each one of these levels. They're just a matter of where you're at. And that is truly an analog dial that you can move around. So you can have this according to, have it dial up as tight as you need or as loose as you want. And it can be done on different machines or groups of machines. From a high enforcement, is really about saying, hey, these are the 5 or 6 things, or in some cases 100 things that I may want to allow, or these vectors of truth that I'm going to allow in my environment, and everything else I'm going to block. And that is called a default deny. So by default, we're going to deny everything to run that I don't say is good as an IT manager. We also have a medium enforcement that is in default deny, but we're going to let it run, but we're going to make the end user say, hey, I still want to run this. IT, I know IT doesn't approve. There's a pop-up when it's going to come and say, hey, IT doesn't know what this binary is. Do you still want to run it? We'll let them say yes. And this is all configurable, by the way. We'll let them say yes, and they can run it, and then we're going to just have that monitor. Since we do continuous monitor, we're going to have that information. And then we have our low enforcement. And again, I don't like the term low enforcement. I would call that visibility mode, to really see what's going on, so I can teach the IT department, I can teach my tool, and be able to dial and make adjustments as needed to move forward. So again, low enforcement being able to just watch what's going on and monitor what's going on. And then we have the concept of detect and deny. So as something comes in, I'm going to detect it, and if it's not good, then we're going to go ahead and deny it and move forward. That can be based on indicators of compromise. I detect something that's running. Very easy one to think of. If something is executing out of the recycle bin, there's an execution happening in the recycle bin, that should never happen. We're detecting something, we're going to deny that from happening because that shouldn't be happening. Another one may be something as simple as, here's a PDF that's executing. That should never happen. PDFs don't execute. So those are oversimplified examples, but that is that detect and deny policy. Also, there's a detonate and deny policy, and the detonate and deny policy is just a little bit different, where something comes in and we say, hey, this is new to my environment, I've never seen it, what do I do with it? So what we're going to do is we're going to send it up. We're going to send it up to our SRS, our Software Reputation Service, which is part of our Threat Intelligence Cloud, or I can send it up to a third-party detonation device, which may be a checkpoint or something like that, and let them run it and tell us what's good. And we can automate that. If they say it's bad, then we can automatically ban. This all can be automated or it can be manual, depending on how you want to set it up. Again, very configurable capabilities around that platform. So kind of oversimplifying things. I like this slide because I'm pretty slow and I need pictures to make things work for me. But over here, these are all red, by the way. That side is red. These are yellow. So if you're looking at an environment, you have an ERP software. Well, we're going to let that run because that came through a trusted path. That trusted path is SCCM or Alteryx or BigFix or Case, whatever you guys are using. From an Excel perspective, well, we're going to allow Excel to run because we allow everything by a trusted publisher. In this case, we'll just say Microsoft. If it's signed by Microsoft, we're going to allow it to run. We know they're good. They have a good way. True. And then from a WebEx, WebEx will run it by reputation. So that goes up to our cloud, our Threat Intelligence Cloud. Our Threat Intelligence Cloud will rate an application on a 0 to 10 scale. So anything 7 and above, I'm allowed to run. Anything 6 and below, I'm going to deny. And you can move that scale any way you want according to your threshold of pain and what's going on. And that's where that low enforcement or that visibility mode comes in. Now, when you have suspicious files, you may want to set those off to a detonation device for analysis and then automate the response. If it's good, let it go. If it's bad, then we'll automatically ban. Over here, this is actually the red side. That's a green side, sorry. Dyslexia. The zero-day malware, we're going to be able to block that by our default deny policies. Crypto locker, we're going to be able to block with an advanced threat indicator. So again, an advanced threat indicator, the oversimplification one, something running out of recycle bin, something running that's a PDF, runs as an executable, things like that, where we can create threat indicators and be able to monitor off of that. And then for a memory perspective, we can run what we call memory process rules. And that gets a little bit into a deeper conversation, but we have capabilities to run memory process rules. So that kind of gives you the overall look of what's going on within the Bit9 side of things. Again, we've talked about visibility being a very important part of what's going on in your environment, being able to handle it. So, these are the types of questions that you need to be able to answer. What's running? Did it execute? Can all of you answer that in your environment on every single machine? Odds are probably not. So what we do is we're going to have our real-time sensor. It's lightweight, very easy to deploy, and these are the things we're monitoring. File modifications, cross-process events, file executions, registry modifications, copy of every executed binary. Why is that one important? Well, malware comes in, dumps its payload, erases itself. When it's done with its payload, it's doing an execution. I've captured that binary, now I can forensically go back and get it. And then this is going to give you the pretty picture of the complete kill chain of what's going on in the environment. Advanced threat detection, we kind of talked about this. I'm going to make this pretty quick so we can get through some of the other slides. Typical malware, this nuisance malware they're all over, they're hitting as many customers as they can. Very easy to create that signature for, but our advanced threats are quiet, moving very stealthy throughout the environment. And again, that's where we can come in with our threat intelligence cloud. We have our threat indicators we've talked about, our software reputation service we actually talked about a little bit. So that's rating of 0 from 0 to 10. And then attack classification, and that's really taking advantage of like a dumb bowel. It says, hey, this is looking like this bad actor, and this is the way they come in and attack people, and you can start basing a defense upon that. And that's all this information that's coming from our threat intelligence cloud, and building that kill chain capability. Instant response and continuous live recording, we've kind of talked about this quite a bit, but really, the things you want to know, where did it start, how did it spread, what do I do now type of thing. And if you're reactive, you're taking it at a point in time and you're not getting everything from the beginning. From a proactive approach, we have that continuous gapless recording, and that's where we come in here. With our threat intelligence cloud, we have our continuous recording capabilities. And really what I want to get to is the live response capabilities. So now that I know I've been attacked, I can see what machines have been attacked, I can see the whole environment, I can isolate that machine. Once I have that machine isolating is basically putting a fence around it and say the only thing you can do is talk to the carbon black server. Carbon black will go in and we can go into remediation mode, we can kill processes, we can do memory dumps, we can do different things within the live response mode. And then also see that complete kill chain as we talked about. Integration we've talked about, network security with all the different players that are out there. Again, a very open API that you can integrate with not only current vendors, but homegrown tools as well. So if you have a developer or our professional services that can help as well. Compliance. We do a lot with compliance, and one of the main things that people think, well, I'm compliant, I should be secure. Compliance does not equal security by no means. And you really need to tighten systems down, but you need to be able to do, do other things as well. So one of the main things is, I want to monitor and prevent change. Well, monitoring change is fine. Preventing change is really where it's at. And then from I also want to be able to control change. So don't change this area. Why even let them change it? Let's control it. That gives you the better security. That's our, we have file integrity monitoring and file integrity control capabilities. So we do a lot with all the different PCI, HIPAA, all the different names that you guys are aware of from a compliance perspective. So if you have a project like that, please feel free to get a hold of us. Kind of some of the newer stuff that's going on. I like this slide again because it's very simple. It's easy for me to think of. Icon matching. So from an indicators of compromise, we do icon matching. This is pending technology that's out there that we're doing. So if a PDF looks like a PDF and you click on it, it's really inexecutable, we're going to stop that. We know that that's not right. Also, or if they say, well, if it's a PDF and it's kind of just off a little bit of the normal, the way the real item should be like, we're going to be able to mark that. Alien Vault is now part of our incoming information from the indicators of compromise. And from our reputation services, we have domain reputation services as well now. So that's coming in. That's all part of the threat intelligence cloud as well. Damballa, from a threat attack classification perspective, Damballa is going to give us information. This is how this attacker comes in. You're going to see, you're going to have all kinds of information at your fingertips without even having to be having a license with Damballa. If you have a license with Damballa, then we take that integration a step further. We can dovetail off into that. And we also have geolocation lookup. So, gee, why does every time my CEO VPN into corporate, why is he going through North Korea? You might want to know that. Again, to give you more and more information and able to fight these guys. You have to be ahead of the attackers. This is kind of where our product sits. You guys have probably seen 100 kill chains, different ways, different forms. This is where we sit. In the blue is the carbon black, and in the green is the Bit9, kind of to give you a general idea. We're not going to get into this because I know you guys have seen this from many others multiple times. So to tailor defenses, you have to be able to integrate. And remember we talked about, here I have the integration with a network security. So what does that really mean? Integration, you have to be able to integrate because they're seeing things, but they don't know. They say, here's this bad actor coming in. We have a bad hash. Where's it at? They have no idea where it's at. So they send that to Bit9. Bit9 says, I've seen it on these 5 machines, and it's executed on 4 of them. And I can see everything that's happened. Or Bit9 says, here's a new binary. This new binary, I don't know what it is. I'm going to send it to the network security. I'll pick on Checkpoint because they're not here. We'll send it to Checkpoint and let them tell us if it's bad and automate based upon that. And that brings up the next piece is automation. You want to be able to automate these things so you don't have to keep doing this. From a detection perspective, or prevention perspective, some people say prevention is no more than detection with an action on top of it. So again, that's really talking about automation and being able to get to the automated piece. And security is security as a unified process. You need to think of security as a unified process versus a collection of solutions. So you have to be able to integrate all these, and that's kind of the theme that we're going with today. There's a couple things that make Bit9 Carbon Black unique. We talked about the top one. It's the only solution with the complete life cycle, prevention, detection, response with the best visibility in the industry. Our threat intelligence cloud, we're spending big bucks in our threat intelligence cloud. We have our own threat intelligence people. We can integrate with third parties. We're pulling more and more information in. We're putting icon matching, those types of things into threat intelligence cloud. We have that broadest OS coverage model. So if you have Windows, Linux, Macs, and desktop servers, laptops, we can handle them all. Not many of my competitors can do that. We talked about audits and compliance. We can satisfy a lot of those check marks as well. And we're the most integrated, most open endpoint capability out there from open RESTful API. We have CAN connectors that are available, and we also have the open API available. Proven reliability, scalability, bunch of deployments, whatever. The one that makes the most sense to me here is Windows certified. You'd be surprised what kind of weight that carries. This is your product Windows certified. A lot of my competitors cannot say that we're Windows certified. and we are with a service flag. So you know it's going to work. We're not going to blue screen your machines like some of the others. So that's one of the big things I like to talk about during my conversations. And now I'll go ahead and open it to questions and answers. If you give the answers, I give questions. Yes?
Seat pricing, what's your model?
I'm sorry?
How do you price it?
It's priced per managed endpoint. So, rough numbers? Chuck?
Servers is priced about $128, and then it goes up to 720 desktops. But it varies depending on.
Yeah, depends on the product. We'll work with you. Basically, for Bit9 and Carbon Black, it's $35 per, and for Bit9 servers only, then you go up to the $128, $130 mark for the server. Rough numbers, MSRP. Talk to EarthBend, and I'm sure they'll give you the best deal ever. They usually give it to their good customers. You just give it away. Yeah, question.
So if you already have, like, say, endpoint, like firewall or enterprise, would you say that it would be like a common replacement for it?
I would say defense and done. So if you want to leave it on there, I would leave it on there. I would leave antivirus on there. A lot of times it's actually a checkbox for compliance as well, because we're not quote listed as a antivirus. But we're going to be able to do a lot of things you can continue to do. I would also say the other thing you may want to investigate in is free antivirus, so that you can still have that checkbox and not pay for it, and take that money and increase your depth of security and buy that Bit9, because you're going to get better defense than you ever see. Make sense?
So is there tools to kind of build your whitelist and mature your whitelist?
There's really not tools. And remember I talked about that visibility mode. So you're going to build your paths of trust. That's going to be how do you deliver software, SCCM. So or something like SCCM not allowed. If it comes in off of the cloud, what are you going to do? SCCM. Then I'm going to use my software reputation service to say anything that is rated a 6 and above, I'm going to allow. And you may say, you see something that comes in bad, then it'll say, I'm going to change it to say everything that's 7 and above, right? It depends on your threshold of pain from the noise of where you put that. And that's where knowing what's coming in and out, that's where that low enforcement, the visibility rule comes into play. Make sense? So it's a lot easier than you've ever been told, by the way. And with every deal we sell professional services with it, so we know the low-hanging fruit, we can get you up and running very quickly. Anybody else? Thank you very much for your time today. Please feel free to visit the booth and talk to us. Caitlin Frazier, if you want to set up a demo to actually see the product, what a concept, right? In 30 minutes it's really hard to do, but we'd love to show you our product. We're very proud of it, and we'll do run a proof of concept for you as well. We're not afraid to do that. We can do it very quickly. Thanks, and have a great day.